All right, in front of me is the brand new Jeep Wagoneer S Limited that was just revealed. And just in front of that is William Coughlin. He's the senior brand manager of the Wagoneer S. And William's gonna tell us a bit about this. So last year we got the launch edition of the Wagoneer S. This is a full BEV. This is a battery electric vehicle, and the launch edition had 600 horsepower, right, 617 pound-feet of torque. I think you guys advertised 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds, which, you know, whenever you're trying to pick your kid up from the bus stop, that is, of course, necessary.
Yep.
But this new Limited is a little bit more toned down and a little bit less expensive. What can you tell me about it?
Sure. So, you know, talking about the powertrain, it still has the same twin 250 kilowatt EDMs tuned specifically to 500 horsepower. Now, it's still good for 0 to 60 in just under 4 seconds, so plenty of power, but certainly not that same level of the launch edition, which is 600, and that gets you to 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. Plus, for the Limited, we've got a little bit of a different interior. The launch edition comes fully loaded with 16-way massaging seats, heated and ventilated in the front and the rear. This is a 10-way heated front seat, but still a heated steering wheel, 9-speaker Alpine audio system in the Limited, and all of that is for a package of $66,995 that includes destination.
So you said 2 electric motors.
Yep.
I'm assuming 1 for the front, 1 for the rear axle.
Correct.
Equal power between the two. And then what's the battery pack?
It's a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack on a 400 volt system.
Okay, very good. So range, we're getting around 300?
It's about 300. Yep.
Yeah.
The EPA for this was 294.
294, okay. And you also mentioned to me ahead of time that we've got some new wheels here as well.
That's correct. So these are all new machined aluminum 20-inch wheels that I personally really like. I love the contrast of the light and the dark and think they look really well.
Yeah, and it's interesting how normal 20-inch wheels sound.
That is, I know what you mean. Yeah, exactly.
And it is the same size wheel on the front axle as it is on the rear axle. Correct. As well, right?
Yep.
And this it's an interesting styling wise. This looks kind of like a mix to me of a Jeep Cherokee and a Jeep Grand Cherokee, yet it's a Jeep Wagoneer S. What platform are we on, and where's the genesis of the styling?
Yeah, so you really kind of hit the nail on the head in terms of kind of overall packaging, overall sizing. So starting from the bottom up, this is on our all-new Stella Large platform.
Okay. And
that is serving cross-brands. So we have it here for Jeep on the Wagoneer S. Dodge has it on the Charger Daytona as well, which is also 100% electric for the time being. But that's a really flexible multi-energy platform that you can stretch, you can adjust the ride height, you can do a lot of things with it. And so that's going to be the underpinning of a lot of things that the company has in store in the next coming months. And so for the Wagoneer S, it is a mid-size UV. It's just under 193 inches of overall length. And we were able to create this package that really is, and I don't know if you heard Mike talk about this earlier, our SVP for sales, but it is the first of our three-pronged approach back into the mid-size segment. So there'll be more to come. There'll be more to come later, but this is a premium mid-size UV that also happens to be an EV. Is really exciting. I think it's a really great package. The interior is distinctly Jeep, and then you talked about kind of overall, it does look like a UV. And I want to make sure that you guys can see this too. You've got that square profile.
Yep.
But they didn't compromise for aerodynamics. You've got this huge wing in the back that helps achieve a 0.29 coefficient of drag.
And how much downforce do we get? Kidding.
Yeah, that's like, oh, you're stretching me to my limits here. But
no, it's interesting. This is a very steeply raked rear windshield here.
Yes.
But then we do have this little bump, almost like a spoiler built in. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's fascinating. No, that's a nice design detail. And I'm noticing, definitely following the trend of like solid beams of light for both the head and the tail lights.
Correct.
Seeing that. 4xe, I first saw that on the Jeep Wrangler.
Yes.
And it's interesting to see it here in this new iteration.
Yeah, it's really an evolution of the 4xe powertrain. So you're right, it launched with the plug-in hybrid on both the Grand Cherokee and the Wrangler, and this is just showing what else a capable Jeep can be on an all-electric powertrain. So it really was a no-brainer to call it a 4xe as well.
Well, you mentioned the interior. Do you mind if we take a look?
Let's please. Do you want to start in the rear too? Because it's something that I want to make sure everyone understands is really how spacious the rear cargo area is. 30.6 cubic feet of rear storage with the seats up, over 60 feet with the rear seats down.
Yep.
You can
And it
fit
looks
a
like
lot
a
in
nice
here.
wide space.
It is, and there's even a little extra storage underneath that I think is great. So you got a little bit of a dip here
That's
if you want
bigger
to put
than I would
some
have
stuff
guessed.
in. Mhm.
Yeah. Now, is this tied to the sound system, or is this part of the
It
battery
is.
pack?
That then is part of the 12-inch subwoofer, part of that
yes,
Macintosh audio system.
Very, very good.
Yep. And so I put this through its paces too. I've got 2 kids, 3 and 5. I fit a double stroller in here, some diaper bags, extra clothes, snacks, the whole thing, all swallowed it up without compromising the passenger space.
Yeah, very good. Okay, let's go to that second row then.
Yeah, absolutely. So also these are all new kind of flush pocket door handles. I really like the execution of it as well, because you still have that feel behind the handle there.
Yeah, it looks like you've got plenty of legroom in here.
Yep, it's about 1/5 of an inch less legroom than the 2-row Grand Cherokee, so still plenty of space.
And it's interesting to me, it's not quite a flat floor. That's usually an EV benefit to have a fully flat floor, but the hump is definitely limited compared to your typical four-wheel drive SUV.
Right, exactly. And so one of the things you can actually get a little bit more of a preview of that in the front is it was a intentional design cue not to necessarily have that, because we wanted it to feel like a familiar cabin. We wanted it to be something where a customer that's coming out of a Wagoneer, a Grand Wagoneer, or a Grand Cherokee knew how to operate the radio, knew how to put it in drive, knew where the select terrain traction management system was, without reinventing the wheel. Now I say that because we kind of did reinvent the wheel. This is an all-new octagonal steering wheel that's got a flat top and a flat bottom. Really helps for a couple things. Very easy to kind of rest your hands on it in a long drive. And then also, one of the reasons that they made it this way was to be able to have a full view of the new 12.3-inch cluster.
Okay, so that is a 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster. Is that standard on the Wagoneers?
Yes, it is. Yep.
And then that looks similar. That is, what size of the center display are we talking about?
So that's a 12.3-inch center radio head unit as well. And then this down here, the comfort screen that controls everything that you need from your HVAC to your AC, everything there. 10.25-inch, and then this is standard condition, does not have the passenger display, but that is part of an option group if you want to get a 10.25 passenger screen.
And I have to, this kind of looks like stamped steel a little bit here, but the way it reflects back, that's definitely a glitzy thing when you've got light on it.
Yes, it is, and that was some feedback that we got from customers and other products. The piano black would scratch and get dust, so the design team developed this from the ground up. And what's also really nice on the Limited is you have that same appearance here on the IP and on the door bezel. I think it looks really good.
Very, very good. Yeah, absolutely. And then you said for the Limited trim, we're talking about 10-way power adjustment. That does include lumbar support.
Yes.
And is that both the driver and passenger seat?
It is, yes. Okay. Yes, and heated front seats are standard as well.
Heated front seats. So if you want to go full baller status, you get heated and ventilated seats front and back, and then massaging front.
In the Launch Edition.
That's Launch Edition. Yep. Okay. Anything else we should know about this car?
I would be remiss if some of our EV friends want to check out our frunk. We do have 3 cubic feet of storage in the frunk. And what I really like too is that it has a removable rubber mat, so that you can get in there and hose that down if you need it. And I put that through the test as well.
Well, with a 3- and 5-year-old, that's easy to do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, this is a really interesting look. It's good to see that we're getting expanding trim that's more accessible to more buyers, and it is, I have to say, for the brand that found a way to put a Hellcat in darn near everything. It's been quite the turn, but it's an exciting one in its own right. So, William Coughlin, thank you so much for giving us a nice look at this brand new trim Wagoneer S, the Limited.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robin.